Hello again, welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Guru Lakshmi, a senior pricing consultant at Monetize. I'm back again with another interesting pricing page breakdown. So today we're going to be reviewing Deputy's pricing page, which is one of the leading workforce management platforms. You would be surprised to know how much of an impact pricing could have on your growth potential that it could make you lose your sleep at night. So according to a study conducted by Bessemer Ventures, pricing could impact your revenue growth to a minimum of 12% and which could go up to 20 to 25%. So talking with regards to Deputy, they are doing anywhere around $120 million in ARR, which translates to a minimum of $10 to $12 million in revenue potential every year. And the major drivers could be their current pricing and packaging structures. They're growing at around 14% year on year. The customers are starting to move to them and they'll soon become a market standard. So for this current growth stage that they are in, we would expect Deputy's pricing to be supporting revenue expansion, greater margin captures, higher net retention rates, and stronger upsell paths. But their packaging and pricing tells a different story. But before we look at that pricing page, I would like to quickly walk you through a framework that I use to analyze a pricing page. So when I'm on the pricing page, I first look at their packaging. I would want to understand if their packaging is mapped to real customer segments and if their tiers and features reflect user personas. Then I go on to looking at the pricing metrics. So I would want to understand if the metric is reflective of both customers' value derived and also the company's internal cost structures. Lastly, I look at the price point. So I would want to see if the pricing is not just competitive, but also is in line with the market expectations and which also scales to support expansion and retention. Now, looking at the first step in my framework, packaging, I would like to highlight three major issues I found with Deputy's packaging. One is the improper split between tiers. Second is the absence of a strong entry tier. Third is their add-on strategy. So when you look at Deputy's packaging, they offer four plans, two purpose-driven plans, one for scheduling, another for time and attendance. Then there's the mix of both these tool sets, which is the premium. And lastly, the enterprise plan. If you take a closer look at these two purpose-driven plans, they're not truly entry-level because they're a literal split of the premium into two separate plans for just 50 cents less on annual subscription. By doing this, Deputy might be forcing customers to pick the premium plan because it's only rational to pick the whole suite and risking both the purpose-driven plans not being selected at all. But this path is also not very cost efficient for customers because they've got other cheaper alternatives like Homebase, When I Work, Plan Day that offer similar value as the premium for half the price as Deputies. So this could create adoption friction and also the upsell. Next, I would like to evaluate the fit of 31-day free trial for Deputy because the widely preferred approach in the industry is to go for a permanent free plan. I want to understand how this approach is working in terms of product adoption after the end of the free trial, especially when customers have got free plan alternatives. Then I would like to call out your attention to Deputy's add-on strategy. So Deputy does two add-ons, one for HR, which does onboarding, employee feedback surveys, document management, and another for advanced analytics and reporting. So I would want to understand the rationale behind doing these add-ons, especially when you've got players in the industry that do basic HR and analytics as part of their standard lineup. So from a consultant standpoint, if I were doing this packaging, I would probably try consolidating these purpose-driven tiers into a single, much stronger entry-level plan with the mix of basic time tracking and scheduling features and a much more differentiated premium and an elevated enterprise plan. Then coming on to the 31-day trial, I would probably evaluate the lucrativeness of both the approaches and roll out the one that works best for me in terms of product adoption and the upsell. Then, with regards to add on strategy, I would look into customer data, their willingness to pay for different add ons, their popularity among different customer segments, SME, mid market, enterprise. Then, probably bundle select add ons as part of the standard packages in the top tiers. Then, offer some of the add ons to the rest of the lineup to monetize better. Next, looking at the pricing metric, which is the next step in my framework. So Deputy does dollar per user per month as the metric, which is fairly easy to understand, where customers are paying per employee registered on the platform per month. And it is also fairly simple to track. We feel that dollar per user strikes the right balance for Deputy because it predictably scales with customers' size, aligning customers' growth with Deputy's growth. It also offers predictability, faster deployment in terms of CPQ softwares, calculating tools, and has little IT overheads. There are other metrics in the industry like dollar per location where customers pay a flat rate per location regardless of the size of your workforce. While this could be advantageous to large firms, it could be disadvantageous to the smaller ones who would still prefer to go for a dollar per user metric. This approach attracts larger players, which could be disadvantageous to you as a company because you're getting the smaller end of the deal because the cost of providing the service might not align with the margin captured on these larger deals. So we feel that dollar per user per month fits fairly well for Deputy's product line, and it is also widely accepted in the industry. Now, moving on to the price point, which is the last step in my framework. So when you stack up Deputy's real entry price point, it comes up to $6 on a monthly subscription and $5 on an annual subscription, which is way out of the industry's range of $1 to $4 per user. This raises a key strategic question. Is Deputy unintentionally gating adoption? Or is it intentionally pricing high to signal premium? But price points this high need to be backed by unmistakable feature differentiation and outcome driven value. But unfortunately, Deputy's feature sets and value proposition are in par with market standards. So, any changes to this pricing setting should be guided by an in depth understanding of user segmentation in terms of willingness to pay through conjoint analysis, one Westendorf studies, or in person interviews, and calibrate a pricing that fits accordingly to each of these segmentations. So that brings us to the end of Deputy's pricing page breakdown. So to quickly recap, Deputy has a strong platform and has achieved impressive profitability and growth over the past years. But the pricing structure could be creating some barriers in the path to their growth potential. But if they want to tap into this $10 million that they might be leaving on table every year, their packaging needs to be reconsidered to introduce a strong entry level tier and a well thought out add on strategy with price points that align competitiveness with adoption and market expectations. This analysis is based solely on publicly available data. No internal insights or assumptions were made. Every recommendation made is reflective of a consultant's perspective, derived solely from externally facing content and standard market benchmarking practices. That's the end of Deputy's pricing page breakdown. Thanks for watching.